Hey guys, happy weekend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. This is still Jinsei Matters with Roy, your favorite YouTube channel where you get to learn, relearn, and unlearn from different aspects of life. And then before we continue, can I just wish all our viewers out there a happy new month. Oh my God. Look at the way the time is moving very fast. Just like that, we've started the month of March. Wow. Welcome to March. It's going to be a blessed month for every one of us in Jesus' name. Amen. So, guys, welcome once again to another inspiring episode on Ginseng Matters with Roy. And, guys, today is a special edition, as in the topic before us is a special one, a practical one, and I'm sure you're going to really get value from the discussion before us today. So, guys, if you know anyone around you, it's my colleagues at work, your younger siblings, or your friends, or your family members who really need to learn from the discussion today, don't hesitate to share this video out with them. Let them come and learn and tell them we are live. So before we continue the discussion today, I am not alone. I am together with me on the show today. We have this wonderful, amazing couple that has always been with us. And I would like you to join me in welcoming this amazing couple, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Thank you so very much, sir and ma, for always uh, joining us on the show despite your busy schedules. So, guys, I bring it to you once again, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Kindly introduce yourself briefly to us, especially to our viewers who do not know you, who are meeting you for the first time and would like to know you. All right, over to you, saying Ma.
Okay, good day everyone. Thank you for being on this show. My name is Fola and I have my wife with me. Her name is Bumi. We are both living in Massachusetts, United States. We are both into we are both computer practitioners. We are happy to be here on this show with Ginseng Matters, and we are happy to. Can you hear us?
Ah, yes, I
Yeah,
can hear you.
okay. Okay, we are happy to be on this show. We are happy to relate with our friends, and thank you for the opportunity. We count it as a privilege to be interacting with many people all over the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much, sir, for that brief introduction. And without wasting much of our time, guys, let's go just right away into the discussion before us today, and which is what happens, what can you do, how can you handle the situation where you have nobody coming to propose to you as a lady. So, you see, when I said it's a special one, it's a practical one in the sense that I really know how painful it is when you are expecting, oh, I'm a lady, I'm of this age, and at this time of my life, I should at least, I should at least have one person that will propose marriage to me, but it's not coming forth. So I can relate with this kind of situation, what it can cause, the depression, the feeling of loneliness, and series of thoughts begin to come into your mind. Oh, is it like I'm beautiful enough? Is it like there is something I'm not doing? Is it like so many questions coming? Just you're fighting so many things in your mind, and if this is your situation, then this discussion is just right for you. So before we continue, let's just hear from our guest speakers for today. Over to you, sir. Over to you, ma. Let's hear from you. In this situation, how can we manage and help people like this kind of situation?
Okay, thank you for this topic and for bringing this up. Yeah. So waiting, expecting proposal, and all of this. Actually, if you have not been in that shoe, it's difficult to feel what those who are waiting are going through. There are different people getting questions from different places. What is happening? Have you gone to see somebody? Have you called this man? Have you called this woman of God? What are you doing? Can you do this differently? Can you come and see me? And he's not saying it's not two people, it's not three people, it's not four, it's not five, it's not six. And it's getting to a level that almost everybody are beginning to ask questions, are beginning to check on you. So there is a lot of pressure going on for those that are not in relationship. Maybe proposal is not coming or relationship is not working out. It's a very tense situation and it's a very difficult circumstance to find oneself in. So I want to yield to my wife because it seems as if she's very set. So,
Oh, why did you say that?
so I will yield to her to kick start the discussion and then we move on from there.
All
I don't
right.
know. I don't know if my outlook created the impression of being very sad, but I was just thinking about, like, um, I wasn't, I got married at 27, I think. So I wasn't, and I was in a relationship at 23 or 24, 23. So I didn't really have that experience, but I have friends who had the experience. I have sisters, I have sisters at church who share their experiences, and I think it becomes a big challenge when you are approaching the age of 30 and you cannot confident that this is the person that is in need for me, or this is the person we are dating, and pressure starts coming from outside or from the groups that you belong to. For example, at church, this sister is coming to say, "Oh, meet brother so 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 is my fiance." Another person is meet my fiance, but this sister does not have a fiance. Then people start asking questions of what is happening. Now, at the early stage, most people will be like, I'm not really disturbed about that yet, or like creating that impression of it's not really a problem here, like, that I'm fine, kind of. But wow, it becomes a lot of pressure on, is it that nobody is not coming, or the people that are coming are not the people you want, or like then we start creating silos of what those challenges could be. Like for some people it is that nobody is even coming. Now, for some other people, it is that, well, the people that are coming, maybe I don't love them. Some other people will say, well, we don't flow, or they're in a relationship for 6 months, it's scattered. Another relationship for another 6 months or 1 year is scattered. Like for those ones, they're having proposals, they are getting into relationships, but it's not working out. That is different from the case of people who are not even getting any proposals at all. So, by the time a 30 is coming, several of your friends are getting married, then it becomes, oh, did you even hear that this person is married? Did you hear that this other person is married? We are buying this clothes, we are buying that. And at the beginning, it's easier to say, well, there are six of us or seven of us. One person is getting married, all of us are going as unmarried. But by the time it becomes most of my mates are married, then it's another pressure of you are the one that is attending everybody's program. They don't even have time to attend your own program because now they're beginning to have their first child, and stuff like that. So the higher the age number counts, the more challenging it becomes to ignore not being in a relationship, or when nobody is coming, when you are not getting proposals. So my heart reach out to those people because it can be a very challenging situation. Because even people you think of, that people who you think should understand, begins to begins to give some suggestions. For example, somebody that has like a churchy mother who goes for prayer meetings and this and that, then they begin to say, I think we should go and see one pastor somewhere on one mountain, or
Hmm.
I need to pray for you. Or I heard that for so so so, they asked her to go and take a bath somewhere before the man now comes, and stuff like that. So it becomes a test of what your values are, what your convictions are. because now you begin to like assess, what do I want to compromise my faith for this, or do I want to go for anybody? Because come to think of it, some people are in the silo. It is not that they are not getting proposals, but they are getting proposals from, maybe because they are 32 or 34, somebody who already has a child, or somebody who says, I'm a divorcee. Or like it becomes a question of, does God want me to marry a divorcee? Does God want me to marry somebody who already has a child? Is it that there's no fresh man for me? Or there's this boss at my office who is just bossing me around, saying that's the reason why you don't have anybody to marry you, because you don't even know how to play your game. So the challenge is a lot. And I don't know whether we want to go into talking about solutions here, but I just want to say that body in that situation, it is a challenging situation to find oneself, but there is help. Like, there is help. Like, God has a plan. As long as you are His child, God has a plan. So I would say that my first recommendation, or my first thing I tell people is, do not fret, don't be anxious, because once anxiety comes in, once fear comes in, it becomes a little difficult to think correctly. I think I've spoken for long. Let me stop there.
Thank you very much for that contribution, ma. So, like when I was conversation today, I read something that few years ago, at the age of 19, 20, 21, especially at least 21, ladies are considered okay. You can at least be engaged, and most ladies want to get married at that age. And for the guys at age 25, I think, yeah. But recently, it's like things are changing, and more the goals of the reasons for getting married are changing. We have people these days, the men, like a few years ago, ladies wants to get married because they needed financial support from the husbands. But we see that recently the ladies are even ready, they are bracing up. You're like, oh, see, no man can do shakara for me. I'll make my money, you make your money. At least in fact, we have homes where the woman is even making more than the man. So if one of the goals of getting married is to at least get like support from the man, and now we have ladies even being able to live independently, then this is one, I think it's also one of the reasons why delay happens for some people. Because by the time you start seeing, I need to do this, I need to achieve this, I need to achieve this before I get married, before you know it, then time has even gone. And then at the age of we are no longer considering age 23 as being ripened for marriage. And at the age of 27, 28, that's when reality begins to dawn. Oh, now I've achieved this, now I've achieved that. So what do I do from here? How do I even how do I retrace my steps? And for some other people, I think some are so, they are the introverts. Of course, we wouldn't say introverts would not get someone to marry, but at the same time, this is someone who is so quiet, doesn't even know how to network, doesn't know how to relate with people. And this is someone that age is not even on that person's side. But at the same time, the person is wondering, what can I do? How to relate with people? I don't know how to network. The person does not is not even socializing. Yet time is going. So people like this, I'm just trying to like bring situations where whereby people happen to experience delay, happen to experience no marriage proposals. So I think maybe if we have some other situations, practical situations, we can share it, and then from there we can start looking at the way forward. What can be done to each of these situations? To people in each of these, what can they do at least to have an improved at least to increase their chances. All right, okay, let's go back to Brofola.
The reason why I'm laughing is there are so many topics that have been brought together
It's
in
a whole lot.
in that explanation. And I really pray that I will be able to figure out and be able to remember all of those points. But even if I don't remember so all, I will still try to address the ones I remember. Now I need to say this way.
Yeah.
Be- okay, you want
So
to?
I
Yeah.
have a suggestion. I want us to start with like human experience from what we have seen. Why don't the proposal come? Or
Exactly.
what
I want
leads
us
to
to
such things?
consider. I want us to consider
Like they are
why.
not pursuing their career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are two ways that I want us to approach it. I
Okay.
want us to believe that we are talking about children of God here,
Yeah.
and we are talking about people that also grow up in church, people that have the opportunity to get exposed to other people. And why is the proposal not coming? If you are talking about a child of God that has a relationship with God, a child of God must understand that God has a plan for everybody that He has created. God has a plan. God has a time. God has different drop it in the Lord and say, figure it out. Whether you like it or not, I'm not supporting, just go and figure it out. You know, the Bible says that he who watches over Israel does not sleep nor
Sleep not
slumber.
slumber. Hmm.
The reality, God is thinking about you much more than you are thinking about yourself. Because when you are sleeping, God is not sleeping. He gets busy, keeps talking about the future, about your circumstance. The only question you need to ask yourself is submitting yourself to the will of God. God has that He has prepared for those who love Him. First Corinthians 9 that no eyes have seen, no ears have heard, neither has it come to the mind of man what God has in store for those that love Him. The problem now comes when, let me give a practical illustration. We had some discussion in time past and questions on, oh, does God choose for somebody? Is it like God has prepared a man for a woman that this is your man and things like that? This current generation are getting to a level that they don't believe that God can arrange somebody for you, and it's becoming a doctrinal issue. It's becoming debate here and there. I think we mentioned that last time when we were on this show. But I remember when I was growing up and I was in the university. As I was getting into the university, I began to say, that, okay, anything about relationship, I don't want to think about it now. When I get to so age, when I get to the age of 20 something, or when I get to part three or get to part four, now I will begin to think about relationship. And I heard a voice that told me that is it that your life is now in your own hand? And I knew that it was the voice of God. And I felt sorry for myself because I was already believing that I have my ways and I can do things my own way. So if you're a child of God and you have been growing in your relationship with God, you must understand how God speaks to you. You must understand, are you hijacking your life? Are you taking it away from God's hand? All of those things have to play. That does not negate peer pressure, where people that don't have your understanding will be saying that, where is the bro? Where is the bro? What is happening? And things like that. But if you are sure that you have a relationship with God, you will respond with that assurance that I know what God has in store for me, and God does not come too late, and it doesn't come too early. So those facts are there for people that have great and strong relationship, personal relationship with God, not corporate relationship, not fellowship based relationship, not church based relationship, not pastor based relationship, not parental based relationship. People have individual relationship with God, like children of Issachar that has the understanding of time. We have the understanding God is coming up for them. They may not have the total picture. They may not have the overall knowledge of how God is going to do it. There are words of assurance that will be coming to them that will let them know that God is doing something and God is planning something and is going to show forth. And God is never going to be late. That is one side. The other side is sometimes God may be communicating with his and his children are not really listening. And in such situations, children of God may begin to think about, oh, how can I make a way? Is it that I'm not dressing well? Is it that I'm not putting enough lipstick? Is it that I'm not using the better wig? Is it that the way I'm packaging myself, maybe I need to touch up a bit? All of those kind of things. And then we begin to make plans for ourselves. And God is there laughing that even with all your plans, I know the plan I have for you. Jeremiah 29, verse 11 says, I alone knows the plan I have for you. It is God that understands the plan He has for us. It is normal for us as a human being to be impatient because I think the scripture says that waiting for too long can make the heart sick. That when your expectation is taking too long, yeah, the way the Bible puts it is hope deferred
Mhm.
makes the heart sick.
Mhm.
When the hope, you are hoping for something, waiting for something, and it's getting deferred, it's getting delayed, then the heart may be getting sick.
Mhm.
You may be getting discouraged.
Mhm.
Then we need to talk about that as children of God. How do you overcome such discouragement? When you are having so many pressure, how do you overcome it? That is one side. The other side about it, are you already making solution for yourself? Are you already have you hijacked your program from the hand of God and you believe that there is a way that can adjust? Like my sister, like the host was talking about, maybe some people are introverts and things like that. If like 20 years or 25 years ago, somebody is telling me that our host will be hosting this show, I will not believe because I had the opportunity to live in the same environment with the host. And if I were to describe her, I would describe her as somebody that is introvert, somebody that is shy, somebody that cannot face the crowd, somebody that cannot do a broadcast. So the point I want to bring up from that is don't allow psychologists to define your life. Don't allow psychologists to tell you that you are this and these are the only kind of thing that you can do. You are choleric, you are this, you are extrovert. Let the plan and the will of God play out for your life. When you allow the plan of God and will of God to play out for your life, there are people that don't open their mouth. There are people that can categorize as introvert. God may not categorize them as introvert. Yet, the plan of God located them and they are fulfilled. And you'll be surprised. Don't feel like, oh, maybe because I'm not networking enough, because I'm not socializing enough. Those could be they can play some factors, but that still does not stop that God is doing something that can make the best work for you. Because sometimes we will hurry into things that we believe we can make for ourselves, and after that, things will go bad and be like, oh, what are you planning now? I don't even want to think about marriage anymore. Let me just face my life now. Let me just wait. So now you can wait when things have gone bad. But then you are just pushing, wanting to do everything in the wrong way until until you landed in serious mess. And after the mess, then you learn humility by force. You learn waiting by force. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, before I ask my wife to continue from here, is for children of God, there is always a plan, and there is always a place to understand that there is a plan. If you have committed yourself totally to God, Psalm 37 verse 5 says, commit thy will, Lord, trust in him, and he will act. Proverbs 3 5 and 6 says that trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. What you think you understand, don't lean on it. He says, he said, in all your ways, acknowledge him. and it will direct your path. And that version says it will make straight your path. Don't lean on what you think you know. Don't lean on the way that Sister Lagbaja, this is the way she got a proposal. This is the way she met her husband. Oh, this other lady, this is the way she met her husband. Maybe I should try their method. Don't lean on that kind of understanding. All you are required is to trust in the Lord. And I will round it up with Lamentation chapter 3, verse 25, that says, the Lord is good to those who wait on him. The Lord is good to those who hope in him, those who wait on him. If you continue to read verse 26 and 27, he's saying that it is better for a person to carry the yoke while he is in youth. While you are still young, it's better to go through certain challenges that will make you to depend more on the Lord. So,
Okay.
Thank
I
you very much, sir.
it is good that we are talking about Christians, but children of God still also has faces too. There are baby children of God, there are growing children of God, there are mature children of
we
God.
are
They are
all
all,
growing.
yeah, yeah, but some people have, like, some people have had experiences that translated them from one level of growth to
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
So we have diverse, there are children of God in the church today who are not certain of how God speaks to them. They are still children of God, and their physical age is increasing. The fact that their spiritual growth is not like
Astronomical.
as yeah, does not stop their physical age from growing. So I don't want us to be too strict with our expectations of the children of God that has relationship with God. Because first of all, I believe, and I've seen it, every woman that will get married, and it's not every man that will get married according to the plan of God. And some people were
I
able
can see our host sitting well.
and I have seen, like, I have seen people who could share that God told me, I am going to be your husband. And they devoted their life to mission work, but they were privileged to know. So sometimes some people are in the struggle for wanting to get a husband, and probably they are not meant to get married. And somebody will say, why did God put the desire in their hearts? But probably it is the society, it is the norm that put the desire in their heart, not absolutely that there's a strong desire in them to get married. So that's a silo of some people that they are not meant to get married and they will not get married. And for people who really have good relationship with God, they will know what God has in plan for them. Now, for some people, they are Christians too, but they are still growing. For example, in the sister, I'm going to talk like we would do, like in the sisters' fellowship at school. Some people, their behavior and character has not absolutely conformed to that of a child of God or like a good child of God. Maybe that's that demarcation because they are still children of God. It's just that they are grown, they have not yet become broken enough in some aspect. If you see some sister react when they get angry or over little matter of maybe sister something is meant to bring something, the program is meant to start at 4, they arrive at 4:15, the way the sister will scatter ground. Even you, if your brother is saying I want to get married to this person, you are a little bit, are you sure sister, like you can cope with sister something's anger or the way they react, like with, like, sometimes when we watch some few Christian movies too, you see a sister saying that, my mother-in-law, I will show her, she will never come to our house, she's too, she, and they are also children of God. It's just that they have not become broken enough to have all the all the fruit of the spirit showing forth in their life. So that is some category of people. Those people, they need panel beating to become a wife material.
Mm.
And we need to address such things too. And that
Yeah.
is why I would say, if a growing child, you should, the psalmist said, show me, is a God, show me where my faults are, let me know what is wrong with me. So some sisters need to do that and say, God, let somebody tell me. Like, personally, I'm going to share an experience. Like, at a point in my life, One of my sisters just told me one day that, do you know you complain a lot? Like me, I just feel that if you see something, you say, ah, this thing is not supposed to be here. That thing is not supposed to be here. That thing is not supposed to be here. Like I'm that person that if I enter the room, I see the wrong thing first, or oh, your hair is not combed. Like that kind of a thing. And my sister was like, do you know you complain a lot? And I was like, me, that I don't complain. I'm not the one that will say we did not start at 4, so I start being disturbed. That was my own understanding of complaint. But when she mentioned that thing, I began to look at it that if somebody is walking into your house, they came to greet you, and the first thing you see is, ah, why do you have this thing on your shirt? It starts sending the message of, at least you receive me first before you start pointing out something that is wrong in my outlook, or which is sending an entirely different message. So we should be humble enough to allow God to show us our character flaws and improve on it, because sincerely to you, like that example I gave, some sisters, children of God, have some character flaws that even if they get married, there will continue to be one problem or the other in their home because they have not become broken enough. Maybe they don't have gentle spirits. Maybe if you see how some people get worried over a little matter, you will question that, don't they have God? Like, if you believe that God is watching over you, why should this little thing that, oh, school bus arrives at 4, it is 4:05, my son is not at home, and they're like, ah, I don't get myself again. What is wrong with my child? Where is my, like, are you expecting something bad to happen, or why are you that sensitive? So I just an example. There are several things like that in the lives of children of God that needs to be addressed too. So if you find yourself in this situation, sit down and look too. Are there things in my life that needs beating? There's an example that our host gave the other time that my husband was talking about. Like some people, it is dressing, it is the way they compose themselves. Like I'm not saying that we don't have personality difference, and that doesn't stop you from getting engaged. But there are just things that God needs to help us to identify and improve them. Let me just end it that way. Those looks like physical things and maybe character issues too. Or some people are not neat; they are dirty. Like a proposal will come, but can proposal be sustained with this dirtiness? Like you are a child of God, but cleanliness is next to godliness, the English we say. So there are some of those things that needs to be addressed, and a child of God needs to look at that. Another factor that I think causes this thing can also be spiritual.
Yeah.
Some people are under spiritual
Yeah.
siege,
Yeah.
that they are fighting a battle over them. And I will put those also in two silos. It may be more than, but those are the two that comes afresh to me now. First of all, some people have relationships, but for the relationship to realize into marriage, they have battles to fight. For some people, it is that they will not even get any serious proposal. And it is not because anything is wrong with them. It is not because God does not have a plan for them. It is just because there's a spiritual battle or siege or generational like influences over their lives. Now, some people will say, once you become a child of God, generational causes, there's nothing like that again. I agree with you. But for people, if for people who know and you are not convinced absolutely that God has won all the battles in your life, I will advise you engage God in this battle. So if the faith that I am now a child of God, the devil cannot touch me again, please live in that faith and embrace it. But if you know that in your heart it is as if something is wrong over here, engage God. It is not wrong to engage God if you think that there's a battle to fight. So I see some people in that spot of this delay is actually caused because they have spiritual battles to fight, either to win the battle of getting engaged to the right person or win the battle of their engagement materializing into marriage. Now, another cause that I also mention is that for some people, I naturally believe that every lady has like a flowering stage. At that stage, we were in high school, just finishing. It is as if you are the only lady on the street corner. naturally people gravitate towards you. But the older you go, there's even the assumption that this person must be in a relationship at this their age. So at that age, statistically, physically speaking, I'm a physical person now. If the chances appear to look a lot reduced, because people naturally even think that you're in a relationship or that you're married, or and if you're not in a relationship, people ask questions of why, what is happening, why are they not, because it doesn't look natural enough. So at that stage, some people mismanaged it. For some people, the way they address the brother that even proposed them, the brother is even thinking that if this person is the sister, let God give me another person. I think I like another person better because of the way this sister approached me. For some people, like my husband said, they put their lives in their hands. Proposals are coming, but they think PhD is the most important thing to them. And so they tell that time management at that time, like, go and wait. Oh, God, my life is in my hands. PhD is what I want now. And by the time they hand the PhD, now they want the marriage. Um, it's like a misunderstanding of time. They couldn't understand the timing for them. So some people are also in that class of, they just put their life in their hands, or because of my mother's experience, I want to make sure that I have enough so that no man is coming into my life and they are thinking that they want to rule over me or something like that. And so they they rearrange their lives, and it becomes out of sync with maybe the master planning for their lives. I don't know, I may be wrong, but that is how it looks like they pursue what they want to pursue, and after they have achieved it, it now dawns on them that some other things are also important that they would have pursued together. So it's just like, for example, childbirth. Somebody is saying, I want to have all of these things before I start thinking of giving birth to children, and now they are giving birth to children at 42, and they are complaining that, oh, these kids want to break my back, because they are doing the child raising at an age that they are much more advanced and are ready for some other things. So that's another side of that. But I'm just thinking that we should address those things too, because it's important that people are able to look inwards and say, what is this problem about? Should we fight it spiritually or fight it physically? Uh, well, everything, our
Let
life is
me
in the hands of God, so it
let me
should be,
just
it
chip,
should not be physically or spiritually. But I hope you understand what I'm saying.
yeah, let me just chip it in because time is gone. But I think what we are able to identify is some things could be spiritual.
Mhm,
You may have some spiritual battles to fight, and it's not everything that is spiritual.
mhm,
Some may be that there are some things, there are some adjustment. Maybe you need to look inward. Maybe you need to pray that, God, what is actually happening? When you pray, open your eyes that there are battles that you need to fight. And if there are no battles, when you pray, you may have an understanding that God is working something out. Maybe it's about a time and you need to be patient. And when you pray also, maybe God will teach you to adjust certain things. For example, God has a plan for me. I'm God's child. I have some character flaws that has to be dealt with. If God allows me to get into a relationship with those character flaws, then the relationship will not last. Maybe it will be a marriage that will pack up within 3 months.
mhm,
God does not want that for me. God wants me to get to a state that I will overcome those character flaws,
mhm,
and then it will take me to the next phase of my progress in terms of marriage. And then we have talked about people that are just concerned. Let me just quickly mention this because it's important. Our sister is talking about people maybe in those in the past, people at the age of 19, 20, they are beginning to think about settling, but things are changing in this generation. You have a guy of 30 that is not even thinking about marriage.
mhm,
So things have been messed up in such a way that some guys have been told that you have plenty of ladies.
mhm,
And they feel that, let me have my fun, let me play with this B, play with this C, play with this D. And because of that situation, some ladies also are now like, oh, if I don't give my body to him,
mm,
it will not work. And some ladies have thrown away decency and they are throwing their bodies at boys that are willing to just use them and dump them.
mm,
So there are different situations. The kind of world that we have now, the generation is more like thinking like me, myself,
And
and
hi.
I. It's just about me. Some guys are like thinking like that, that is about me, and I can use any lady I want. Some lady are also getting to the table. Oh, let me focus on my career first. When I have this and I have that, then I can now listen to any man. And at the end of the day, the mentality of what I want, me, you have been focusing on your life for several years. Suddenly, you want to join that life with somebody. It doesn't work that way. You are not thinking about a situation where you find yourself that you now begin to think about somebody else. So those things have mixed up and have confused many people, and this generation is beginning to send messages to them that are not supposed to be. And many people are conforming themselves to the message they are receiving from this generation. So people need to step back and look inward and pray to God. Are there battles I need to fight? Yes, no. If there are, then begin to fight them. If there are none, then begin to pray. God, is it about timing? Or is it about personality? Is it about certain things that are delaying this next phase of my life? Focus on it and it may be helpful. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, this is massive. I've learned a lot personally from the contributions made by our wonderful today, guys. If you have anyone around you, single siblings, colleagues, friends who are still in this situation, don't hesitate to share this video out with them. Let them come and learn, relearn, and unlearn from this amazing conversation. And like Brofola shared from the spiritual aspect of it, oh my God, it is something we really, really, I think that's just the main thing because we cannot trust. There is nothing we can even do by our own self. God knows the future. He knows the end of a thing right from the beginning. So you cannot even drag anything with God. Just surrender everything to Him and let Him drive. Let Him give Him the key and let Him occupy the driver's seat and just follow. Let Him take the lead. And like Sister Bumi shared, there are some people. Sometimes I wonder. I'm like, oh, this sister is so beautiful. She has a very good shape. She's intelligent. She's brilliant. But what happened? What's causing the delay? And then like Sister Me shared about the prime age where it's like you are the most beautiful lady, you're the most beautiful girl in class. Boys are flocking around you. There is time for everything. Some people, some let me say some ladies at that point, they allow this get over them such that they feel, oh, any boy, any brother that will come and approach me, I need to assess that brother because just look at me. 10 boys, 10 guys in my during uh my secondary school days. I was the most beautiful girl in class. In my university, I was Miss blah 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 blah. And then coming to the church settings, any brother cannot just approach me. I will assess the brother, and then this has really affected some sisters because that mentality of I'm very beautiful, I'm a very good singer, I'm a good instrumentalist. I can't just allow any brother who is not of my tastes to just make a proposal. And with that mentality, the first brother comes, you say no. The second brother comes, you say no. The third brother comes, you say no. You said no. And then later, even your attitude, like Sister Me was sharing, personality matters a lot as well. We have sisters who are still dealing with this, like she shared. Some are still people, we have babes, we have people that are still growing. And I think it's really a whole lot. It's a big discussion. It's really a big thing. There are different situations. Some people are still dealing with anger. That can get a little thing like this conversation between your fellow sister, and then you just flare up, and then you don't even know the brother that is even watching you. This sister on top waiting. I beg. I don't think I can deal with this kind of sister. And then not just that, even your attitude. amidst people, you cannot hide it. You cannot hide your behavior. You can't hide your attitude. There are some things you just need to look inwards and, ask people around you, is it like I'm doing something wrong? Some people will not tell you the truth. They will just tell you, oh, okay, maybe you're okay. Just keep praying. Just keep praying. But you need to still look inwards. Look for people that will tell you the truth. Sister, let's not lie. You get angry too much. Sister, let's not lie. This your dressing self. Improve. so, so you know these are different situations
The
here
content
and
is
there.
good, but the packaging is poor.
Honestly, sometimes some people, and it's so funny, like some people will be well dressed, and then by the time they'll just open their mouth, what, people are like, eh, my sister, why is this the stuff you are made of? Well, I think this is actually this is the main reason for this discussion today. Situations, causes of delayed proposals in marriage, and various ways by which we can handle them. And I think our guests have really done justice. We've interacted and we've really seen ways by which we can improve. So guys, if this is something you that speaks to you and will speak around you, just do well by sharing it with them. Let them watch, learn, and relearn from this discussion. So, wow, time has gone and we have to bring the discussion to a close. But before we end the discussion today, over to our guest speakers, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Just something to take home with for all our viewers out there.
Yeah, so the last thing I want to say about this topic is the issue of patience. This generation is growing impatient and is a normal human being flaw. I will just give two examples from the scripture. The first example is about Saul. At the time, he was meant to wait for Samuel to conduct the sacrifice that was meant for the priest to conduct. He was waiting, and he lost patience. And he started the sacrifice by himself. And God was not happy with him. And he lost it. He lost his position. He lost the grace of God over his life. The second example is the example of the prodigal son. This was his right, but it was not at the right time. He insisted on his way. He had his way and he suffered for it. So many times when we grow impatient, let's seek help from people that can encourage us to be patient. Don't think you are smarter. Don't think you know what you are doing because you will always find yourself in mess. And I used to give this illustration in time past that when you have a pot of stew boiling and you are impatient and you go there and you use your spoon and you take the stew and put it in the mouth when it's still very hot, your tongue, everything will burn up. By the time the food is done and the stew is done and is now cold, even if you are eating it at that time, you will not have a good taste in your mouth anymore because you have been impatient. So the stew belongs to you. All you need to do is to wait for some time and then you will enjoy it. So I will leave the last word that please wait on the Lord. Don't grow too impatient. Even if you have not gotten what you need when others were getting theirs, don't think that God has forgotten you. Learn to be.
Yeah, I think that I'm just looking at it from the point of view of like having a retreat. Take time to be with the Lord. Like God has a way of communicating with us when He knows that our heart is genuine. God wants our good. All He's doing is because of His love for us. So God loves us, and He wants to help us through this challenge. So if you're having a challenge, spend time with God, and don't also overlook the power of community. Get people that you can talk to, people who can help you, people who can like identify you.
Godly people.
Oh, godly people, yeah, godly people, and godly people too, be mature godly people,
Yeah.
because there are several godly people too. Yeah, it's a complex Christian community now. So like everybody is a Christian, but different fruits are showing forth. But and the last thing that I want to add to that is also know who you are. Rest in the knowledge of who you are. You are a child of God. You are an heir. Like your father owns all the men in the world. Your father has the perfect plan for a perfect home. So rest in that knowledge of the person you are. Like my husband has quoted that before. I don't know, me tell Mama, how do you translate that in
Yeah,
English?
that the
That the
water
water
that
that is
belongs to
meant
you.
for you,
Yeah.
even if it is flowing all around the world, it will still come to you. So rest in that knowledge of I have a father who cares for me. I'm a child of God. God is looking out for my good. God is working everything out for me. So rest in that knowledge. Don't become intimidated such that you put your hands in what you're not supposed to be doing or let down your guard. So know who you are and rest in the knowledge of who you are as a child of God. And God will help us to do the
Amen.
right thing. Yeah.
Amen. Wow, it's really been an amazing time once again. And I want to say a very big thank you to our special guest for today, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Thank you very much for the privilege to have you with us on the show today. And to all our viewers out there, thank you so much for always joining us on the show. I hope that by God's grace, you're going to be sharing this video out to your friends and any other person that could benefit greatly from the discussion. And guys, till we come your way again, it's still Ginsey Matters with Roy. Stay blessed the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.